Hello everyone. So today I'm gonna go over how I mix and master in 2025, like right now. This is a remix I did for the artist Statistics. Check him out, he has some cool stuff. Okay, so let's go over it. Right now, how I do my mixdowns. I'll pretty much base my mix on the kick, which usually is pretty much the loudest element. The kick pretty much, when I start, it pretty much peaks at 0, and then I base all my elements on the kick. But the thing is, I on my master I lower the volume to -9. That way the master is not distorting, and I can just base my volumes on a 0 peak and not be afraid of any distortion. So after I do this, let's hear a little bit, and then the bass is pretty much like 2.5, 3 dB below the kick. And so as you can see, my kick bass group is pretty much empty. There's no processing on it, it's just the kick and the bass together. And yeah, after, like more later in the mixdown, I usually reduce it a little bit because yeah, I just think the kick and bass should be a little less loud. And then I go to the drums. The drums, they usually are about I put it about half of the loudness of the kick and bass, which if it's 0 dB it will be like -6 dB, but in this case it peaks at -7, and I have a clip distortion, like I clip the whole drum groups so it doesn't go above -7, so it's just -7 is the peak. Besides that, I EQ some of the lows, and I do some distortion before the clipping, just to make it a bit more thicker. It can be quadraphase, it can be Saturn, it can be any distortion plugin. And obviously everything I show here is always sometimes changing, and I'm always learning, so it's not like, it's just a way of doing it. It's not like so yeah, obviously it won't be the best or the only way to do it, but it's just one way of doing it. And yeah, so yeah, this is the drums, and as you can see, sometimes it's clipping with the clipper, but that's good because it's drums, so I think it's okay, because without the clipper, as you can see, it goes even above 0, and it just keeps it under control, like the whole group. Hits, just random sounds. I put them in a group called hits, and I just remove all the low end, and I put just a default Saturn preset, just to keep it also under control and not go above 0. And usually when I do it, it doesn't go above minus 2 dB, something like that. And then I got the atmospheres, which also I remove all the lows. This might be not your approach of removing all the lows, but it's definitely keeping all the low end safe, because Psytrance has so much energy in the low end that at least to 100 it will probably be smart to remove everything, because you don't want it to clash with the kick and bass. Although at the breaks I always automate it and remove the EQs, so at the breaks the low end from the atmospheres can come back, and the leads and everything. So yeah, and obviously all of this is not obviously, but sometimes it's kind of lazy. It's just like putting its very basic way to do it, and you might want to do it even more precise, more compress it, multi-compress it, and I don't know, whatever, more distortion, more precise distortion or whatever. But this is like a basic way of doing it, which for me works, and it's enough for me. So here, the atmospheres, I try not to limit it at all. Just put it for safety that it won't go above 0. Then I lower the volume so it won't be that high, so usually around -3 dB. I want the limiter to not react fast because it's atmosphere, so I don't want any sudden like movement from the compression that will ruin the sound. And then we go to the leads, and it's the same as above, just removing the low end, some of the mid. Sometimes I have more precise EQing and dynamic EQing if there's like parts that are more problematic. Another default preset from Saturn, just so it won't go above 0, and it just like tighten everything. And yeah, this sounds pretty good for me. This was done a few months ago, but it's still pretty much how I do it right now. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Now let's go to the mastering. This is just the mastering I do. Obviously, if you want to do it the most professional way, maybe you should give it to a mastering engineer, but I think this is good enough to play at parties and stuff. And in my opinion, if the mix is good enough, then there shouldn't be so much work done in the mastering. But let's see what I'm doing here. So this is just a low cut in a linear phase mode. Some people will say it's not the best mode to use. Personally, I want the low end to stay as it is, so I like to use it and not really mess the phase with a regular low cut EQ. Just a little bump, so there's a bit more sub. That's maybe not 100% necessary, but that's what I did here. A bit of extra in the stereo image, just push the stereo image. Really slight compression, as you can see, maybe 2 dB maximum of compression. The attack is high, not short, so the sound can pass through and not squash it, and just kind of glue it and give it like a bit more dynamic feel. Here we have multi-band compression, very basic. As you can see, just to tighten everything a bit more. and really maybe 1 dB of compression for every band. Here barely any compression, but just to keep it a bit more under control. And here I have a multi-band compression, one dry signal, and then one signal which is pretty compressed, but as you can see it's minus 24, so it's very, just push the sound a little bit more. And then I finish it with a limiter, plus 8 dB, aggressive, very aggressive settings. Basically for the music, as long as the music is more aggressive and has more frequencies, you will not hear any distortion, and it will just sound like kind of clipping, stuff like that. Also, sometimes I would put a clipper before the limiter, but here I didn't. As you can see, it's like probably goes to minus 4 dB maximum or minus 5 at the very most, but yeah, not super limited. I like to keep it dynamic and sounding good. RMS minus 8, whatever that means. But yeah, you can reference it to other track and see if it sounds good, if it sounds loud. And yeah, this is right now pretty much how I do my mixes, my mixdowns and my mastering. And hopefully it can help you. If you have any comments, if you have any better way to do it, let me know. If it helped you, let me know also. That's it. Have a good rest of the day. See ya.